I'm gonna go right into this blender with all the ingredients. It's only a cup, but I have a little extra. I'm not gonna add it all. A cup of each cilantro, parsley, and culantro. So like this is my take on Sofrito. This is not my mother's. It's something that I created because it's like a 2-step process for Pernil for me. So I usually make the sofrito, which my sofrito just has less salt and less of like just less salt basically. So that I could add everything else in the second part, which is the marinade. Yeah.
How does what does culantro taste like?
Culantro tastes just like cilantro, just a little bit more intense in flavor, and it's different shape, but more intense in flavor, just kind of like the root, just like that, basically. I think I added way too much. That's good. Okay, culantro. Let's see if this all fits in here. I hope it mixes. I should do it in like 2 batches. Okay.
Oh yeah, I think that's it.
All right. Okay. 8 cloves of garlic. 8 cloves.
Very nice. Super garlicky.
1 whole Scotch bonnet. If you don't like the spice, you can definitely just take the seeds out. I like the extra little bit of spice. You don't really taste it in the final product, but it's just like it's an extra kick in the entire process. Like I'll just split it open so you can help it out.
So like on the scale between like really hot red chili or like jalapeno, or is it?
It's in between a jalapeno and a habanero.
Right.
But like they're sweeter at the same time.
Right.
So like you're not. It's not all spice. It's a lot of flavor in there. But you could also sub it out for Pernil, which I'm using Pernil instead of the green pepper, just because I like the Pernil flavor. But that's my preference. You can definitely use a green pepper. It'll be just as delicious. 1 red onion. This is a really large one, so I probably will use that one. 1 red onion. And
I don't think I know what a cookalong is. It's basically like
it's an Italian long bell pepper.
Oh yeah.
Okay. One of those guys.
Got it.
I hope this goes. I didn't add this into the recipe, slipped my mind, but 1 cup of water and half a cup of Flico Berredo.
Our proud sponsors.
Yeah. I got it. I did it. Let me see if this is hot.
Yeah.
And then hopefully it'll blend. Let's see that. And then after I make this, I'll show you guys the pork. Like kind of like a pesto, but chunkier. A lot chunkier.
Yeah.
Oh, this is good enough. Okay, so
smells really good.
So now I'll go into like the
remove this.
Yeah, the preparation of the pork and how to clean it. As I said in the instructions, I'm going to just go right underneath the skin and go right into the fat, without piercing the skin. And I'm gonna make all of the little pockets for the marinade to sit in once we make that. That's the next step after we prepare the stack. But just go right underneath and make yourself a little thing to hold on to, and glide the knife right underneath the skin. Try to like save as much fat, but if not, it's okay because it's all gonna get cooked together anyways. So it doesn't have a ton of fat, so I'm kind of cutting into the meat a lot, which is okay. I'll show you how that looks in a bit. And just scoring the skin. I'm not gonna cut all the way through because this side is gonna stay attached, and this side I'm gonna peel it back. So again, just like following the line, pulling the skin back, and then just like not really putting a lot of pressure on your knife. Just using the tip of the knife and like separating the membrane from the meat and the fat. End up cutting into it by accident, but that's fine. So I would probably stop right about here. So now it's like open. See, there was not a lot of fat on there. And now this is when I start to make little holes, making sure not to like stab the bone. You make little holes to like for the marinade to just sit into. I'm not going too hard because the bones are right here.
Yeah,
just,
so you're going
mess up
like
your knife.
half an inch deep.
Yeah. Yep. And then flip them over and do the same thing on the other side.
When was the last time you made this?
For Christmas, I think.
Oh, it's recent.
And New Year's. New Year's, sorry.
Oh, nice.
New Year's. I went to Boston with family. Like, my uncle's in charge of buying it, and I was in charge of making it. And he ended up buying one without any skin and any bone, and it came out just as good. But like, he had one job.
Yes, one job.
You messed it up. Okay, that guy is done. Now I'm going to score them on top. It already has this little line. I don't know what it was from, probably from like processing. And I'm just gonna follow along with that. I'm not gonna cut too deep. Just literally making lines on top of the skin. And this helps the skin crisp. And it won't less skin when it's like cooking. I keep looking into here. I forget it's over here.
Can you do it with chicken or turkey?
Scoring it?
No, make.
Oh yes.
Same sort of type of.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And is this process of like set skin and then scoring it underneath and then on top, is that how it's traditionally done, or because of your like chef training, you know that this is the best way?
Every household has a different way of doing it. Like my mom doesn't really score on top, but she doesn't separate. Like sometimes she separates the skin, sometimes she doesn't. She'll just like poke holes all on top a lot of times and just skip this step completely. You know, somehow households live and die by doing this, like scoring it and separating the skin. Really, up to how you like it. I like to do it because it gives a crispier product. Okay, I'm gonna put them off the side so I can start making. So we start with sour oranges. It's probably hard for some to find it, but around me they're everywhere. This is a product of Dominican Republic. They're like a cross between orange and the lime. So I'm just squeezing it straight into a strainer because it has a lot of seeds, little big seeds. 1 cup of the Sofrito mix. All the dried stuff. So this is the oregano, whatever oregano you have, the salt, black pepper, adobo. It sounds like a lot, but the pork literally has no flavor right now. So you need to like really try to penetrate it. So you need a lot of salt, and a lot of it comes off in the oven. So you have to like really let it penetrate inside. So I put a lot of like garlic, a lot of salt, a lot of like herbs to help it out. So we previously chopped like about a cup of garlic, no less. Half a cup goes into here, but I'm just gonna use this and like go halfway. So half. What else am I missing here? The olives. Oh yeah. Olives. With the juice. I love it. I just love using a lot of vinegars and citruses in recipes I have and a lot of herbs. So like one thing that we use a lot in my house is olives and the juice, like the vinegar brine that it comes in. It's like I just toss it in things.
And you don't need to chop the olives up.
You don't have to. No. Unless if you really feel like it, you can definitely. is
Oh,
what
amazing.
it looks like. It looks so weird, but a lot of chunks in it, but it is super flavorful. So let's marinate it right into the container. It's gonna be like a bit messy.
Another question. Would you say that this is a classic dish that Dominican families have on Sundays for dinner?
Not so much Sundays, even though if it's like a Sunday thing, you'll probably like order it. But more of a holiday thing, like Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, any big holiday or family function celebration. There's who's bringing the pernil or who's making it. You know, it's like always the question, unless your house no one eating pork gonna get it. You know, so you want to pull back the skin, and I was gonna use gloves, but it's fine.
Yeah.
And just start rubbing it in there. My grandmother used to do this. My mom didn't, but the little pockets that we made, I would stuff the olives into them. Yeah, she would have me do that little fun thing. She's like, if you find all the holes and stuff the olive in there. My mom does that with garlic. So like she'll just have like whole cloves of garlic and make little holes for them. I think I make the holes a little big enough, but that's fine. It's just gonna.
So she doesn't mince the garlic all the way?
No, she likes to leave it whole, but she also has garlic in her sofrito also. So under the skin, I'm gonna put quite a bit, like a layer, and then cover it back up and flip it over. And put some more of this. All of this is going to go in there. And then you're going to wrap it up and put it overnight.
How long do you marinate it for? If you're doing it like the right way.
24 hours. I mean, if I had more time, I would do it for 36 to 48 hours. Because that's when like you get all that flavor in there. I'm going to use some for the top. When I'm just marinating, I let the skin get marinated also, but right before it goes into the oven, I dry off the skin. And just like I bring like maybe an eighth of a cup of water and pour it over and like rinse it off.
After it's marinated?
Yeah, after it's already marinated, you brought it out to temp and you're about to put it in the oven. I put like an eighth of a cup and like rinse it off and then pat it really, really, really dry. And then give it a brush of olive oil and then put it in the oven.
What does the water rinse do before?
Just help all the stuff go down, and it also gives it a little bit of liquid. Like if you didn't have a lot of, because this marinade gave me a lot of liquid, so it's like I wouldn't have to add more water. I would just kind of wipe it off and like use a paper towel and like swipe it off. But like really try to get the flavor absolutely everywhere. So this is ready to go into the fridge and marinate overnight. And then I have one that's already ready. We have a lot of time still, right?
30 minutes.
We have 30 minutes. Okay, so I still have to make the mojo and pull apart the pork. So we're gonna fill it in. But this is ready to go. You can just wrap it up, put it in the fridge, and then put it, take it out of the fridge at least 30 minutes before you're putting it in the oven. But you can do it up to an hour before you put it in the oven. So now I should just pull this guy out. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Magically done.
Oh my god, that looks amazing.
Have somewhere to like. Should I just put it straight onto the canoe? On here.
Wow. That looks so good.
Okay.
Yeah, that looks amazing.
But I'm gonna let it like hang out a little bit and cool down before I put my hands in there and start like shredding it, because it is way too hot. So I'm gonna make the mojo now. Well, we're just letting it slightly cool. So like my telltale sign that this is gonna be done is it's done cooking. Is the bone likes to like shoot out. It's show itself.
Like
Like
this.
this.
Okay.
It likes to just stay in here.
Is that typical with any kind of meat you're roasting? It's like the bones start.
Yeah, because the meat starts to pull away from
Right.
it, and less moisture is in there. Over the top. It's very intensely flavored. You just pour it over.
Wow.
Then just add some more cilantro. Oops, sorry.
Oh, nice. You just garnish
With
it.
some cilantro.
Great. That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
I took my gloves off, but I'm gonna just chop this up. Oh, I can't really because it